Hi there, retirees. This is Ann. Hope things are going well. I wanted to explain how did I get out of debt as a 60-year-old. I was in debt for about $35,000. I had paid off all my school loans because they weren't very much. But I still had. My first husband had died and left me some debt that I had to pay off and I had to pay that off because my son had given him a credit card, so it was actually, I was paying off my son's credit card. So anyway, I had to do that. And I had this revolving card with Sears. I was just, every time I got rid of $3,000, I got another $3,000. And then to make matters worse, I got into a car accident. And so I had to buy a new car. And so anyway, I ended up in debt, and that was pretty tough. But at 60 years old, well, my first husband died at 55, and when I was 55, and he was 67. He was older than I am. And when he died, I was lonely. I was used to being married, and so I started dating, and I ended up marrying what I thought was a pretty decent human being. And he was. In many ways, he was a very decent human being. He loved Paris. He loved to surf. He was very nice in many ways. However, we did have to part our ways after 5 years. But during the 5 years, the best thing that happened was one day, after we were married for about a month, he said to me, "Oh, let's go visit this person, my friend." I said, "Oh, okay, sure, why not?" And we get there. And before I know it, I'm in the middle of an intervention for finance. And I'm going, what's happening here? And the first thing they said to me, how much debt do you have? I mean, he just kind of didn't yell at me, but he just asked me that. And I said, "I don't know." And he says, "You don't know how much debt you have?" And I said, "No. Everyone's in debt." And they looked at each other, my husband and his friend, and my husband said, "I'm not in debt." And the other guy said, "I'm not in debt either." I said, "Oh, really? Well, a lot of people are. I'm not the only one." I said, "Well, okay. So how much interest are you paying on this debt?" And I said, "I don't know." I was starting to feel dumb. And then I said, "But I pay every month on time earlier. I pay my bills." And they looked at each other and they said, "You know how much interest you're paying? It's ridiculous. You're paying like 22%. It's insane." And I said, "Is it?" I said, but anyway, there was nothing I could say. They both said to me in the nicest way they could, speaking to someone who was obviously financially challenged, that I probably have to get out of debt. And what the financial planner said to me, the best thing to do, he said, is pick one bill, one by one, changed it to a 0 versus 27 or whatever ridiculous amount I was paying. And one by one, pay them off. And so I had a certain amount of savings in some account. And so I took that and I paid off 10,000 of it, I think. So then I was down to 20. And then I just, bit by bit, I started tackling it. And then I realized, so it became a challenge for me. And the thing is, my husband was a fourth grade teacher. And he treated me like a fourth grader, which possibly I was in finance. But, what was great about it was that I took it very seriously. I'm a very good student. When I put my mind to something, I will accomplish it. So I said, get out of debt. Okay, I'll do that. I'll show these two that I can do this. And sure enough, in 3 years, I got out of it. I mean, I just did what they said. I got the 0%, and then I paid it all off. Then I got the 0%. And, and bit by bit, he didn't give me any money to do it. I had to do it on my own. So, Not that he gave me any money. He just gave me the knowledge. And being the kind of person I am, if I have knowledge, I use it. So I'm out of debt. Finally, I said, oh, and we took the guy out for dinner. I said, oh, I have to take you out for dinner because now I'm out of debt. I was very happy. And I couldn't wait to go shopping, of course. And my husband says to me, well, now you have to save. And I said, what? What are you talking about? I paid all my debt. Now I have money. He goes, no, don't forget, you're 60. And I said, yeah. So what about it? He says, you're going to retire in 5 years. You need some money. And I said, oh. So he said, yeah. So he basically said, all the money that you were paying on those debts, which was like half my salary, he said, I have a guy. He has a guy. And he gave me this phone number. And I said, okay, this is your guy, huh? And so I call him and I said, I'm Fred's wife. And he told me to call you about setting something up for saving through the school system, because I work for a school system. He says, oh, I'm your guy. I'll do it for you. He says, okay, let's do this. It's very safe. It'll be just safe, so you don't have to worry about it. That money will be accruing, and it'll be good. So how much you want to save? And I said, well, I could save all the money that I was giving to those. It ended up being half my salary. So I saved from then on. So it was a couple of years that I did that. Just a couple of years. I ended up getting up to 100,000, which really amazed me that it went so quickly that I got up to 100,000. Yeah. So that's how I got out of debt and how I ended up with savings in a 401. And then I had a pension, of course, and a small pension. It's not a big pension. And because they took a lot of my Social Security, because that's how the school system is. So it's not like I'm making a fortune, but I am quite happy. I'm grateful for whatever I get. But the best part is that I've never been in debt again. So that's 10 years later, no debt. But that's how I did it. There was an intervention, and I took it well. And there was a satisfying end to it. So you can do it. If you're in debt, just look at what I did. No one helped me. It was totally my focus, but it's facing the fact that you have debt and facing the fact that you have to stop spending all the time. And you have to realize you want to hang on to your money. And so that's my advice. Hope it helps. Thank you.